In business news, China says it's slapping provisional duties of up to 42.7% on some dairy products from the European Union, effective tomorrow. It's after a wide-ranging probe started last year, which some saw then as retaliation for tariffs on Chinese electric vehicles. China's Commerce Ministry saying findings from the probe indicate subsidies for some European dairy products. Beijing's probe in products, which also include pork and brandy, triggered an EU complaint to the World Trade Organization, citing at that point insufficient evidence. China is the world's third largest producer of milk, but it still imported more than $500 million of dairy products from the EU last year. Well, with Will Denselow covering the story live for CNA from Brussels. Will, from that figure, suggestions that Chinese producers might welcome this move. But who is this tariff, given that it's provisional, likely to hurt the most?
Well, as you rightly mentioned, there is a large range of tariffs going all the way up to 43%. It's believed, according to some reporting, some analysts, that the majority of dairy producers could be hit with these duties to the tune of around 30%. Now, this is expected to impact a range of markets across the EU, including some major and famous brands like Roquefort, the French cheese, included in this. Now, we have heard from the European Commission speaking to the press just moments ago. They've described these as questionable allegations based on insufficient evidence. The Commission going further to say they'll see whether it's in compliance with the World Trade Organization. That's a route we've seen the European Commission go in the past when it came to previous probes by Beijing into things like pork and brandy that, again, you rightly mentioned. So this certainly seen as a broader spat. So when it comes to winners and losers, yes, it's certainly seen that dairy producers caught in the middle of just this latest in what has been a rather deteriorating trade relationship that the European Commission, when I asked how this impacted the wider relations, the Commission said that, well, it's a complex and multi-layered response, but this certainly is seen as a setback as wider trade ties continue.
All right. What might the EU do? Does it have either the space or the political appetite to hit further back with another tariff, for example, on something else, on China?
Well, all eyes on whether we'll see the European Commission taking this to the WTO. And we've also heard from the Commission say they will do all that they can to protect their dairy farmers across the bloc. So certainly a strong message coming from the Commission that they will do what they can to protect farmers, producers conceivably impacted by these duties. Of course, this comes just a few weeks after we saw China lower its duties for European pork following the conclusion of that investigation. So many here in Europe would be hoping that a similar fate will come further down the line. But for now, these tariffs are certainly steep for producers. And when it comes to future negotiations, well, we know that talks are ongoing on a number of issues. And the Commission, speaking very plainly to me a little earlier, when asking about these wider ties, they simply said that they're seeking a rapprochement with Beijing on these trade issues. They're seeking to continue working towards a win-win solution. But as far as the Commission is concerned, they want to see some of these underlying issues addressed, such as what they describe as these stances when it comes to unfair trade practices as they see it, as well as the trade deficit. But of course, for Beijing, they've accused the EU of protectionist measures on issues such as EVs. So in a year where the two sides are marking 50 years of diplomatic ties, it seems there's plenty of frostiness as we go into the new year.
Oh, thanks. Will Denselow, live from Brussels for CNA, looking at these latest provisional duties slapped by China on European dairy producers.